pour la cérémonie de la remise des diplômes. J'aimerais vous présenter Madame Partridge qui vous annonçait l'étudiant le mieux noté cette année.
Thank you. Remember earlier I said that you were going to see some of these people and maybe some politicians? Well, our valedictorian today is one of those people I expect to see on a political stage. He understands representing his colleagues. He represented them on the student parliament last year. He also represented them by creating in his own initiative and overcoming a number of obstacles, a student newspaper run by students for students and so on. He is, however, very humble. The procedure for determining who valedictorian is the senior school teachers get together and we nominate people and then we, decide who should be the one. When Dylan's name was presented, it was unanimous. However, when I told him he'd been selected valedictorian, his response to me was, "Are you sure?" I'll leave it to you to judge the effectiveness of this year's valedictorian, Dylan Thomas.
Good morning to all the parents here, the teachers, special guests, of course the graduating class of 2013. So here we are. Just a couple more minutes of me droning on about school, and we're going to be done. We're going to be finished with Bowmore, finished with 8 years of elementary school, and ready to move on to high school. Scary thought. Now, I'm not saying none of us are ever going to visit this again. I mean, I know I will, but Bowmore's been a massive part of our lives for even 10 years for some of us. That's an entire decade. And now we're moving on to Monarch, to Danforth, to Riverdale, to Northern, to Rosedale, even some to New York. Now, I was thinking of doing the classic valedictorian speech and talking about how Bowmore, inspired us to do great things or sparked our love of learning. When I realized that for a lot of us, that really isn't what Bowmore's about. So, with the risk of bringing to life one of the cheesiest speeches ever made by man, I've decided to instead talk about what Bowmore really means, and that's friends and community. Not to get nostalgic, but Bowmore's been where so much of our lives have happened, and many of our best memories, I'm guessing, have been at school. Go back. Go way, way back. Do you remember the thrill of being a little kid at recess, when everything, and I mean literally everything, was so amazingly interesting? Good times, right? How about playing on the playground during recess? Good times. I miss recess. And playing rounders, or tag, sitting in the shade, maybe just going up to someone and asking if they want to play. That's right, think back to the time when we used to play. Maybe fast forward a couple years to past the play period. Do you remember being at lunch with friends and just feeling good about yourself? Maybe you remember finding about track and field and saying, oh, what the heck, and joining to find your love track, or chess, or tutoring, or soccer, or maybe you just want to get together with some friends or some other Bowmore people. And I know I said I wouldn't make this speech cheesy, but the really awesome thing about Bowmore is that you can do all this. Because what Bowmore is really about is community and diversity. And finding that special place for you. I mean, we've met some of our best friends here, and had some pretty awesome things happen, like our trip to Camp Wanahawin, or... yeah, they get it. or the Toronto Island School, or back in grade 5, where we all danced Thriller in the gym with Mr. Butters. Yeah. As well as some not-so-good times, like all the fire drills in winter, fire drills in pool, fire drills in winter during pool. Am I making my point here? As well as some other bad stuff like us having no extracurriculars. Also, Cassie, I'm pretty sure Cassie was no one's highlight of the year. Pretty sure I'm right on that one. But really, it's the good and the bad that have both given us the stories that today we share and laugh about. And I think we did pretty well on that. But let's not take all the credit. We didn't do this alone. So right now I'd like to thank some of the other people here who've really made us who we are today and got us where we are. First off, I'd like to thank the people who have been carrying us for 14 years, who's guided us through good times, bad times, those great times in between. Can we give a massive round of applause for all the teachers here? Sorry, guys, just kidding. The parents. But I'd also like to thank the people who've been helping us ever since we got to school. The people who made sure we didn't get lost in the dust when we were behind. The people who went above and beyond the call of duty to make sure we would succeed. Could we now give a massive round of applause for the teachers? Now I'd also like to say a couple words on next year, i.e. high school. First off, high school's terrifying. I mean, right now we're on the top of the food chain. We're the big cheese, the head honcho, the top turkey, whatever. But next year we're going to be the grade 9s in all of high school. Everything we've done, everything we've accomplished, we're going to have to do it all over again. Because we've been part of the community here for years. A community made of over 800 students, and in it we found our friends. And now we're going to have to do it all over again next year. I mean, here in Beaumont, we've had friends and had challenges. We've been guided by our teachers and parents, but also got the chance to make our own choices. We've had good times, not so good times, and those sweet moments in between. But it's the good and the bad who made us who we are. So if you tuned out for most of my speech, just remember this. High school is going to be terrifying, but Beaumont's been preparing us for these moments. With its amazing times, its not too amazing times, those sweet moments in between. And when we grow up to be the next top chefs, engineers, big league athletes, little league coaches, yoga instructors, maybe wipeout contestants, I don't know. Remember that we all came from here. And I'd like to leave you all with a quote from Steve Jobs, who said, "And no, we don't know where it will lead. We just know there's something bigger than any of us here. So meet new people, find what you love to do, throw parties, read books, whatever you love. But do it to be better than we are now. Do it to be as great as you can be. Thank you for your time."